Welcome to the Hyperliquid Connector Guide. My name is Fede and today we are going to learn how you can run algo trading bots in Hyperliquid using Hummingbot. Hyperliquid is a decentralized perpetual exchange that has an amazing feature called vaults. The vaults are the evolution of the copy trading. You can create one to deploy your strategies, and other people that is interested in your strategies can invest in your vault and you are going to get a profit share. To get started, we are going to understand how to deposit the funds into Arbitrum. If you already know, you can skip that. Then we're going to deposit the funds into Hyperliquid, create a vault, and run some bots on that vault. So let's get started. All the details are in the documentation of Hyperliquid that you can find here. You go to the docs, then connectors, DEX connectors. Here is Hyperliquid. Well, as you can see, it's only a perpetual connector, and here we have the connector guide. This connector guide is like more focused on Vault, but you can also have like a very good understanding of how Hyperliquid works. If not, you can check the information of how to use the normal connector here. So let's get into the docs. Well, here is the explanation of how the vaults work, how a vault leader can enable trading, how to accept that other people can deposit into your vault or not. So feel free to read this document, and if you have any question, you can go in our Discord and ask questions about it, so another community member can help you. Well, let's get started. This is the web page of Hyperliquid, where we can see the available vaults. For example, here we can see the available vaults. There is one vault from Hyperliquid that has already a lot of TVL and very good APR. And well, there are other people that is providing vaults, so you can deposit your funds in the vault if you trust in that trader. Well, to get started, I created a new Google Chrome profile. I usually don't use Google Chrome, but I did it for this session. As you can see, my MetaMask is empty. I'm here in Ethereum. Seems like I need to add the network of Arbitrum. Okay, approve. Switch to Arbitrum. Okay, got it. Perfect. Well, now we have Arbitrum. So yeah, we're here in Arbitrum. What do we need in order to trade on Hyperliquid? We need USDC and we need Ethereum for some gas fees in case that we need. So let's go to Hyperliquid. Well, one important thing, check this. This is sponsored in Spanish. This one, be careful because the URL is not Hyperliquid. If you enter here, you will see that seems like it's the same app, but it's static, so it's easy to catch. And see that it's asking for the wallet immediately. This is a scam, so be careful with this. Make sure that the URL says Hyperliquid. So it is one. And here you can launch the app. So well, here we are going to connect the wallet, MetaMask, connect the wallet, terms of use, accept. And well, here, as you can see, if we want to enable trading, probably we don't have enough. We need to deposit certain amount of USDC. Right now, we don't have, so we will need to pass USDC to this wallet. So in order to do so, I'm going to go here, copy this address. Now I'll go to Binance, and I will pass some 200 USDC that I have here. So I will withdraw this USDC in Arbitrum. Yeah, $200. The first withdraw transaction is processing the USDC, and I will also send some Ethereum. $20, I think that is enough. This should be something like that. Well, this is the first step. If you have your tokens, for example, in Ethereum, probably you would like to use a bridge. In that case, you will need to use something like Arbitrum bridge. You will need to use this, and this will let you send the tokens from, for example, from Ethereum to Arbitrum. Okay, now we have here in MetaMask Ethereum, the $20. We will need to also import the tokens of USDC. So USDC token address are, let's see, this is a contract. So here we can import USDC import. So we have almost $200 of USDC and $20 of Ethereum. Now let's go back to Hyperliquid. Remember what I mentioned, all this. Launch the app, and now it's connected. So let's disconnect. Let's connect the wallet, MetaMask. Welcome to Hyperliquid. Okay, enable trading. These were the last step. And we need to deposit the USDC. Okay. We need to see the transaction. Okay. Yeah. Very cheap. Perfect. Deposit confirmed. Balance update on the next block. Success. Perfect. Well, now we have the account ready to start trading. If we want, we can just trade with this account as it's a normal account. I will do just a quick test to show you how this works. So in order to connect Hyperliquid, I already have connected, but I use Brave and it's in with another wallet. So let me remove the other connector. So here, as you can see, in connectors I have the encrypted. This is like all encrypted. Hummingbot encrypts the credentials for you. So I'll remove that one and I'm going to connect the new one directly. So for that we will need the private key. That in order to get the private key you have to go here to MetaMask, 3 dots, account details, and here it says show private key. I will pause the video and then I will just get the private key in a note so I can just put it into Hummingbot. Okay, now I have my private key, so I'll go to here. This is the Hummingbot project. Probably if you're familiar with it, you know how it works. If not, you can follow the installation steps in the documentation to get started. So we're going to, I am using PyCharm, so I have configured here. If not, you can run the command start. As you can see, I'm going to use the command connect Hyperliquid perpetual. Okay, first the private key. See my clipboard. Now says, do you want to use the vault address? So by default is no, because at first I'm going to just show you how to trade with a simple account. And then says that we need to pass the Arbitrum public key. So for this, let me go back here and I will copy this and I will just paste it here. Okay, now we should be connected to Hyperliquid. So if we check balance, we will see that here we have the balance of the exchanges that I have connected in my local machine. So I have Hyperliquid 198. This is the same amount as we passed into the account. And well, we have Binance Perpetual, but these are other exchanges that I have connected. So well, now let's go here to vaults. Let's create a vault. Let's put it test Hyperliquid video. Test HBot. Bold description. I will not put any description. Minimum than 10, so bold to demonstrate how to run bots in Hyperliquid using Hummingbot. Okay, now let's deposit, I don't know, the minimum is 100 USDC, so let's put 150 USDC and create the bolt. Okay, now we created the bolt. You are trading behalf this amount. So this is the vault, and this is the master account that is managing the vault. Okay, now to connect, we will need to get the vault address. So let's go here, vaults, and we should see that test HBot should be our vault, and here we can get the address. So what we're going to do is to run Hummingbot without quick start, just Hummingbot. And we're going to connect to Hyperliquid Perpetual. Yeah, we would like to replace the private key that I have here. Is this. Do you want to use vault address? Let's put yes. Arbitrum or vault address. Let's go back here, copy this. And now, if we run balance again, we will have $150 here. Finally, it's time to run some bots. This is a setup that we are going to use. As you can see, we have a main strategy that works as a portfolio manager strategy, and we have controllers that are sub-strategies that are sending instructions to the main strategy. The benefit of this setup is that we can use, for example, the same controller with different configurations, and we don't need to create one bot for each config that we want to run. Since they are going to share the candles or the order book or different data sources, we can take advantage of that and create more instances of controllers that are going to report to the main strategy. At the right, as you can see here, we have an executor orchestrator. Hummingbot has a new abstraction layer for execution, where you can find the position executor, that is one open order with one close order, the DCA executor that has multiple open orders and just one close order, and the arbitrage executor that lets you do arbitrage between SEX and DEX. For example, you can do between Uniswap and Binance. The basic flow is that the main strategy initializes the market data provider based on the controllers that has loaded into the main config, and the controllers are going to use the market data provider to take decisions based on the signals that the controller is generating, and is going to also use the information of the executors that are active from that controller. Based on that, it's going to send instructions to the main strategy. So for example, if the signal of the controller says that he has to buy long, we'll create an executor action proposal and we'll send it to the main strategy. The main strategy can validate, okay, I have a lot of executors running, or my margin is too low for the amount of positions that I have open, and based on that can decide if we'll accept or reject the instructions from the controller. That's like much more advanced of what we're going to do right now, but those are like the main principles of this setup. The strategy that we are going to run today is called Demand B3, and it's a mean reversion strategy that combines Bollinger Bands with DCAs. So we are going to use the BBP, that is the relation of the close price regarding to the Bollinger Band. So if the price is here, BBP will be 0, and if the price is here, BBP will be 1, and here will be 0.5. So what we are trying to do with the config, we're going to define where is the value of the BBP to enter short. So for example, if we are saying 0.8 enter short, here the short will start. And if we're going to say that long is 0.2, here long will start. But instead of entering in just one value, we're going to create a DCA from that point with the distribution that we want. So the strategy is very simple. It's the idea to understand how Hummingbot works and how you can run strategies in Hyperliquid. This is the configuration of the main strategy. As you can see, the controllers config that we are going to run are these three. And well, the update interval of the config is because Hummingbot lets you update the config of the controllers and reflect those changes in your bot dynamically for some of the parameters that you allow. Let's see now one of the configs for this Daemon V3. Hyperliquid Perpetual is the connector, Big Time USD the trading pair. Right now we don't have candles for Hyperliquid. We're going to integrate the candles soon. But the good thing about Hummingbot is that you can trade in one exchange using information from another exchange. So in this case, we're using the information from Binance Perpetual to generate the signal. Then the rest of the things, we're using the order book of Hyperliquid. But the good thing is that you can mix up data sources and create strategies that are combining multiple exchanges. Let's see some of the configs. The executor amount quote is $200. This means that each DCA will have $200 distributed in all the orders that it's placing. We are only allowed one DCA per side. Then we have here the leverage, the position mode, the stop loss, take profit, and time limit. The stop loss works only when all the orders are executed and is calculated from the break-even price of the DCA. The take profit works from the first order. So, for example, if the first order gets executed and then you reach 3%, the take profit will be activated. And the time limit is another close type. And for example, if this is 60 seconds, means that if the executor gets activated at 60 seconds, if it's not closed by stop loss or take profit, will be closed by time limit. Then we have the trading stop. This trading stop is like a take profit, but it's a trading stop, so it's activated at 0.8% and has a trading delta of 0.2%. So it means that when the P&L is positive of 0.8% is activated and the value of trigger is at 0.6%. If the value continues going up, it's going to follow that P&L by the trading delta, and when the price reverts, it's going to be triggered. If you want, we follow the same standards as Binance in the documentation. So if you search for trading stop, you will see how the mechanics works. Then, well, we define the candles connector and the trading pair, the interval, Bollinger Band length, and standard deviation, and the thresholds to enter long or short. As I mentioned, this is the BBP, so we'll be at 20% of the Bollinger Band, we go long, and at 80% of the Bollinger Band, we go short. Then we have here the spreads of the DCA, and this is probably the most complicated thing because if you are using dynamic spread equal to true, these values are multipliers of the Bollinger Band's width. So what it means is that if this is the width as we calculated, is from the midpoint to the upper bound or the lower bound, seems symmetric. It's like, for example, here 2%, 0.1 will be 0.2%. So for example, this spread that is 0.1 will be multiplying the 2%. So the first order from the entry point will be at 0.2%. The second order will be at 0.4%, and so. So this is like a way to make our algorithm dynamic based on the Bollinger Bands. We have another examples in the code base as the PMM dynamic, that is a market making controller that instead of having fixed spreads uses the normalized average true range, that is like the average sizing percentage of the candles, to make the spreads dynamic based on that. Then we have here the DCA amounts in percentage, that will be the distribution of the $200. As you can see, here is not normalized, but don't worry because the controller normalized it before distributing the $200. So this is 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 12. So, well, this is 1 over 12, and so then multiply by 200. Well, and then we have the dynamic target. Now is false. This will make the take profit and the stop loss also dynamic based on the Bollinger Bands width. But well, for now we are leaving it in false. If you want, you can experiment with that. And lastly, we have the activation bounds, that this is probably one of the coolest features that we have, because in this case it's null, but for example, if we put 0.005, 0.5%, means that if we create the DCA, the orders are not going to be all created. Only the orders that are in a range of 0.5% of distance from the close price. This is very good if you want to make your algorithm more capital efficient and trade in much more trading pairs with the same amount of capital without exposing too much orders in the book. Well, now let's run the bots. No. So we are going to use the terminal. This syntax is, well, Hummingbot quick start, -p the password, -f the script that we are going to use, that is generic with controllers, and -c is the config, that is the initial config that we saw that has the configs of the 3 controllers. So let's run it. Let's run status live. I already ran it and I have 2 early stops, but has the information in the database. So if you run the config with the same controller, with the same ID, we'll load that from the database. And as you can see, now we are trading on the 3 markets. So let's go here and see what it looks like. So, well, this is GMT. Here we have 18 open orders. Let's say Fed is also here. See that the distribution looks like the same, but probably the notional values of the prices are going to be different because we are using the Bollinger Bands to define these spreads, but the distribution is like the same. As you can see also here, we have 44, 44, 43. This is because of the price. 87, 129, and 171. This change of the size of the amount is because of the values that we define here, that are the distribution of how we're going to allocate the $200. Well, here in the config, in the status dive, we can see the 3 controllers. If you want, you can add more descriptive names for the controller's ID. Here you can see, for example, the realized P&L in quote, the unrealized P&L. We don't have any active position right now, so it's 0. The global P&L, and so, well, here as you can see, this time limit is finished based, I don't know if we change the time limit to a certain value here. Let's see, time limit. We put here time limit 60. That's why it's expiring. Let's change it to null. But this is why it created the DCA, but then closed it by time limit. And well, here we can then see the global metrics with the global P&L in quote, the global P&L in percentage, and see the distribution of the close types. So let's see if we have luck, and one executor is executed. Okay, now we have one position created for Fed. So seems like Fed is trending up. So we have the first position here. So the good thing is, as you can see, is that as we are moving up from the band, we are going to have a position that will be like the break-even price will be moved above the Bollinger Bands. And with the distribution, for example, as you can see, this is 6, 6. We already have a position of 6, 11, 17. So hopefully the break-even price of these orders, or for example, they get executed up here, will be somewhere here, for example, just to put a random number. But the idea of this controller is that we are trading on deviations of the price from the Bollinger Band and trying to create a distribution of orders that move the break-even price up. You can see here also that this Fed is here. Fed is running. We can see the net P&L in percentage and in quotes in real time. One thing is that the position executor, to compute these things, for example, now has a short, is computing the net P&L quote with closing the position at market. So it's checking the value of the book that represents the close type. If it's a short, we'll see we'll compare it with the value of the ask, because it has to close at market, has to buy. And if it's long, we'll be comparing with the bids. Well, now we have another execution here seems like it's not recognizing the UI yet. Okay, now it recognizes the UI. So GMT, we are also having execution here. Well, this is how it works. Now we have two positions. The orders are still there. So, well, I hope that you like it. I hope that you understand how it works. You can ask any question on our Discord. We have people from the community supporting and answering your questions. Even me, I'm doing a lot of question answering there. So, well, I hope that you like it and you can start running some bots on Hyperliquid. Thank you very much.